Reserve list cards selling quickly on TCG Player? Let's check out why. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here. Got an exciting video today. TCG Player had a sale last week which resulted in some amazing deals on their platform. That had a lot of players reaching into their wallets to buy reserve list cards to add to their personal vault of reserve list stocks. Guys, it was an amazing thing to see that many cards selling that quickly. Let's take a look at some of these awesome reserve list cards, and we're starting out with card number 1. So the first card I'm showing everyone today is Volrath Stronghold from Stronghold the set. This card can be found for $130 Canadian for a near mint copy. The average is $114.92 US. The market has it at $107.25 US, and of course €77.30 will get you that card. Now remember, the formats it's permitted in are Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. Sales on this card were extremely high, and again, most of the sales I'm showing everyone today are due to the fact that TCG Player had that sale that just said to players, I can afford some of these cards. I'm going to get them now while they're on the cheap. A lot of these cards have been sliding in value, which you can see has even happened with Volrath Stronghold, which at one point was almost $200. Guys, it's a land with no drawbacks that lets you put creature cards on top of your library. Hello, awesome card, and that's the way we like to see it. Deals like this draw people in. Wallet fatigue or not, they know there's a future value there, and that's why people went after a lot of these cards on the list today. Let's check out card number 2, which of course is Lake of the Dead. As we know, some of the most epic artwork ever created. It's just amazing to think about and look at, and I remember being amazed even as a teenager when I saw this card from Alliances. It was awesome. Now this card can be found for $105 Canadian for a lightly played copy. The average is $115.99 US. The market has it at $103.89 US. And of course, €89.95 will get you that card. Formats permitted are Commander, Vintage, and Legacy. And again, sales were very high for this card. Awesome to see so many people getting a chance to grab an epic piece of iconic artwork such as this. Let's go ahead and take a look at card number 3, and that's going to be the Anvil of Bogarden. Now, this card had a big dip. As a card from Visions, these cards have been bought out in the past, but they haven't really held on. And this is one of those circumstances where the card has not been able to hold on to its higher prices, and it's slipped back down. You can find a near mint copy for $58 Canadian. The average is $55.90 US. The market has it at $54.19 US. And €37.57 will get you that card. But when you see the slide of how high it was to where it's at now, and its versatility as a card, it's amazing. The formats it's permitted in are Legacy, Commander, and Vintage. Cards at these prices, the reason they sold so well on TCG Player is it's less than a half of what people were paying before, and with the discount it made it even sweeter. Let's go ahead and take a look at card number 4. Now card number 4 today is going to be Thawing Glaciers, one of those cards that everyone really should at least have one copy of. This Alliances card has multiple versatile uses, being in, well, depending on what format you're playing in, of course. But at $38 Canadian for a near mint copy for a card that's almost 30 years old, crazy. The average is $35.62 US. The market has it at $32.94, and €23.12 will get you that card. It has risen up a little more recently than some of the other cards on this list, and that's due to its ability to be used in Commander so well. The sales on it were very strong again, and it's just awesome to see so many people being able to get a good quality copy that wasn't trashed for less than $50. Come on, a Vorinclex or a Thawing Glaciers. I can see why people would choose the Thawing Glaciers. Let's go ahead and check out card number 5. Now card number 5, I thought was very interesting. This card had steady sales out of the blue when it was barely selling anything month to month. Soraya the Falconer is from Homelands. A very, blah set. Nobody thought much of it. You can find a moderately played copy for $3 Canadian. It's not an expensive card. I mean, I can see why, right? You're looking at a 3 casting cost 2/2, but all Falcons get +1/+1. Very situational, not all flyers, it's just Falcons. So I thought I would post up some of the best white Falcons you could use. Now, the average here is $365. The market is $321 US, and €3.89 will get you that card. It did at one point kind of peak up around the $5-6 mark, but when you look at some of the other white Falcons that are available, and the other multicolors you could put in a commander deck, Sonera is actually not that bad. As a 3 casting cost 2/2, that wasn't bad back in the day by itself anyway. But being able to give Falcons banding and grouping it with other types of creatures in a commander deck, and with the selection of white Falcons available, some have banding, some have protection from red, some of them have flying and first strike, it's actually not a bad card. That's why I'm posting it up today. The sales did get a big boost from where they were, but they're not really strong. They're not in the 50, 60 sales that week like some of these other cards on the list. But the fact she even hit 35 sales is a pretty good indicator that people were looking at this card saying, it's not that bad. And the Falcons I've showed you are the reason why. Let's go ahead and take a look at card number 6. Now, the next card is Sarah Aviary, another card that had steady sales when it had very low sales the last couple of weeks. At $4 Canadian lightly played. The average being $4, the market being $3.32 US, and €3.65 will get you that card. This card at one point did peak up around the $10 to $12 mark, but it shouldn't have been there quite yet. I can see it being a $10 card in the future because it gives all flyers +1/+1, but it is a 4 casting cost enchantment. Again, mixing this with Sonera or some other cards can really give Falcons a boost up. And the price is at the right spot. Being a couple of bucks makes a lot of people want to reach out and grab it. And that's exactly what happened last week with what's going on with the TCG players. So I can see why the Aviary's there. Way to go. Decent card. Not amazing card, but decent for what people might be using it for. Let's go ahead and take a look at card number 7. That's Jester's Mask. Again, one of those cards that peaked around the $20 mark, kind of slid back down just because its usage is quite limited unless you're using a commander deck that can get it out quick enough. Remember, it does come into play tapped. Right now, it's $12 Canadian for a near mint copy. The average being $9.24. The market has it at $9.83 US, and €8.22 will get you that card. But Commander, Legacy, and Vintage, depending on where you're playing, I've seen people get this card out. I've seen them recycle this card and use it multiple times in one game. It can be embarrassing when it's used properly. And people grabbing for $12 a near mint copy, I can see why they reached out and got it this week. Makes perfect sense if it's $12 and you're only paying $7, $8 on TCG Player. That's why people went for it. Let's go ahead and take a look at card number 8. And that is Helm of Obedience. And of course, this card is strong. I expect no less. People are just starting to recognize how amazing this card is from Alliances. At $70 Canadian for a near mint copy, the average is €61.34. The market has it at €52.06, and €49.38 will get you that card. This card has peaked over the $100 mark before it collapsed back down, but I expect to see it go back up again. Depending on how somebody builds a deck around using Helm of Obedience, it can be completely devastating to opponents' decks. The formats it's permitted in are Legacy, Commander, and Vintage. The sales are exceptionally strong on this card this week. Let's go ahead and take a look at our card number 9, and that's going to be Misfortune. Another card that surprised me, seeing it go from like low sales all the way up to strong sales this week. Now, at $3 Canadian for a near mint copy, it's by no means the most versatile card. Its average is $2.45 US. The market has it at $2.65 US. €1.80 will get you that card. But if you actually read it and look at its casting cost, it's not insurmountable to use this 4 casting cost thing to at least do 4 damage, put counters on your creature, put minuses on other people's creatures, multicast the spell in one turn. It does have some fun availability to it in the future. And for a couple of dollars, it's a reserve list card. Why not spend a couple of bucks reaching out to get an amazing piece of old school stuff like this? Way to go, Misfortune. People decided last week that you were worthy. Let's go ahead and take a look at card number 10. Card number 10 is Mystic Decree. Again, this card went from basically no sales last week to steady sales. I'd say low steady, had about 30 sales. But at $4.50 Canadian, the average being $3.54 US, the market has it at $2.92 US, and €3.14 will get you that card. The formats it's allowed in are Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. I myself used to use this card with Island Sanctuary and Howling Mines that basically made everything not be able to attack me, which was awesome. Add that with emote and stuff, it just made it harder and harder to get around your barriers of defense as you slowly pick their decks apart. It was awesome to do. Mystic Decree was one of those cards I actually always liked from Homelands. It doesn't get a lot of love, but I'm going to give it to it here because it went from no sales to fairly decent sales. Way to go, man. And when we go into our last card this week, we are taking a look at the Harbinger of Night. Very interesting, as I hadn't really paid attention to this card recently. At $8 Canadian near mint, the average being $6.49. The market has it at $5.07 US, €3.81 will get you that card. The formats it's permitted in are Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. But when you take a look at what it does, you can see why people might want to pick up a copy or two for some kitchen table magic, some old school stuff. During your upkeep, put a -1/-1 counter on each creature. That can be crazy. Of course, it includes itself, but you can always find ways of keeping that creature alive each turn. I love it. Fun card. Really unique artwork. I can see why people grabbed onto this one. So, as you can see with the cards I've showed everyone today, there was a lot of sales across the board, and they weren't all high-end reserve list cards. There was a large amount that were just mediocre, okay stuff that people thought, why not grab some when it's this cheap? And when those things happen and people hold the line and don't put them back up, that's when you're going to see slight increases happening. The way people are choosing to digest the reserve list and buy cards from it are not always big single splurge buyouts, but just small bits of nitpicking over and over, like a person just picking up crumbs over and over and over, but holding those crumbs for very long periods of time. Way to go, and congratulations to all the people who bought cards last week from the great sale they had. Way to go. Looking forward to talking to you all this week. Reserve list, you got to have fun with it. And remember, bring a friend to Magic. Have a blast. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hey everyone, a big shout out goes out to each and every one of my amazing patrons. Thank you so much, everyone, to those continued support. It's amazing to see you guys hanging out with me this much. I love talking to everyone on the Discord. Let's keep it up. Let's have a blast. Welcome to everyone. Clean, clean, clean. Always being told to pick up my mess. Clean up the garbage. Make sure the room is clean. Oh, that was a bag of Skittles falling on the floor. Oh. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna go pick up some Skittles now.